Brothers, I was watching this video from Video Game Donkey, and Pokemon ZA is soulless. This is not even mediocre. I don't even think you can call it a 5 out of 10 game. I think if you're being honest, this game is a 3 out of 10. There is no innovation. Not really. You could say, oh, the combat is innovative. No, it's not. The aesthetics, everything about it, is from a company that doesn't believe that they even have to try. And I think that is just so sad, because the potential for a Pokemon game is huge. Why should you have to settle for this garbage? Optically, it looks bad. There's so many issues with the game. How are you going to make a game in 2025 with no voice acting? How are you going to do that? That is unacceptable. And of course, they've removed gender. You know, one of the things that I thought was cool about the old Pokemon is you pick male or you pick female. And when you pick one of them, then you got an avatar, and, that was that. But now they want to remove that. They want to be, gender neutral. We want to be inclusive. Yeah, you're inclusive of all the garbage and bad ideas that have flopped other games. And the fact is that right now, this is sitting at a 79 on Metacritic, and it's sitting at a 3.9 user gamer score. That is absolutely abysmal, and it should not be accepted by anyone. I don't know why Game Freak is allowed to continue to make these shitty fucking games. This is atrocious. There are Chinese companies that are making games that are free to play that are better than this. And yet we're told that this is the best that we should expect. Absolutely not. Look at this. This is terrible. We should not allow for $70. Now, listen. If this were a $40 game, we'd be having a slightly different conversation. I'd say, well, the graphics are shit. The story is fucking abysmal. The characters are not memorable. The super evolutions are embarrassing. But the game is $40. This game is $70. So with tax and everything, you're going to be paying about $80. About. That is damn near criminal. This game has no freedom of exploration. The game doesn't trust you to do anything. If you throw Pokeballs and you miss, you can go back to a guy to pick them up. No consequences for your actions. No risk. Remember the days where you'd fight a Pokemon and if you killed it, it would faint and disappear? Well, now, if it faints, you can still throw the ball at it. And if you run out of balls, don't worry, we got you. This is a game for babies that don't care and just say, oh, goo goo gaga. But that is not the type of game that you should be making. There's no reason why you can't make a game that is graphically beautiful and plays well and has a lot to explore. You should be able to go into every building, look at every nook and cranny. This is a game that should be like, if you just want me to say it, this should be like Elder Scrolls, but with Pokemon, where you go into a library and there's a bunch of books and you could just read them about Pokemon. Like, there's so much opportunity here, and yet they fuck it up. The game looks abysmal. Why did you think this was worthwhile? Why did you think this was acceptable? It's honestly shocking. This game it's a remnant of an era bygone where you could make a game and you didn't have to have voice acting. You could have these dialogue bubbles. But no, in 2025, you should have voice acting for every character. That's a minimum. That is a minimum for a $70 game. The laziness of this game is absolutely putrid to me. It's unacceptable. And it should be unacceptable to you. You deserve more. The designs are unimaginative, lackluster, repetitive. I mean, oh my God. That running Starmie is... what drug were they on? And by the way, one of my favorite things about this game is that one of the Nurse Joys, quote unquote, is black now. That was actually really, really funny. Because that sparked a lot of conversations about why is this Nurse Joy black? I did think that was pretty funny. Because it was just so out of place. And they took some time to do that. Like, that was a conscious decision that they had to make. Oh, and by the way, for those who are like, why can't you go into the store? That's outrageous. But also, apparently Pokemon has been affirming trans people. Yeah, that was pretty disgusting. You know, and this is something that we see far too often with these companies. When they start to go astray, they focus on other things that are completely and totally irrelevant, and you start to see that the reason why the company is not doing good is because it's focused in other directions. Now, Game Freak is working on another game, and that game looks amazing. I don't know why they couldn't apply that to this. There is no excuse. And as is expected, the game has made more than the new Digimon game that came out. Of course. It's more popular than Digimon. It always has been. That does not change the fact that the game is shit. The lines are super long. Understood. Evolutions look bad. The city is just one model. Looks clunky and cheap. Yeah, it does. And people are still lining up to buy it. And it's absolutely unacceptable. It's ridiculous. And by the way, Pokemon as a brand and Pokemon as a company should not be affirming transgender people or allowing these people near kids. That is absolutely disgusting and unacceptable. And it should be just a baseline that if you allow these people near kids, your brand and your company should take a major hit. Your brand and your company should take a major hit. Anyway, let's get back to watching Pokemon, right? How on earth are you going to make a game in 2025 for $80 that looks like this, that plays like this? This is unacceptable. This looks like a game from 2013. People meme that Nintendo is like 10 years behind the times. This looks it. I don't know how you thought this would be acceptable. You just came out with the Switch 2. This would have been the perfect game to show off the power of the Switch, where you had a genuine open world Pokemon game. You can't swim, apparently. I'm like, what are we doing? Oh, you can't sit down. Yeah, so you really have no freedom. The game holds your hand. You're not allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to have fun. And this is the point where Donkey, his game freezes. Yeah, so that's nice. His game freezes. Yeah, and then he just quits playing. Totally and completely understandable. This game is a mess. It's a disaster. It's embarrassing. It's a shame upon Pokemon, the brand, the game, the card game, everything. This historic franchise has been reduced to this garbage, and you're going to have the goal to sue Power World, this makes you look so much worse than you can possibly imagine. And so what I would encourage Nintendo to do is to take Pokemon away from Game Freak. If Game Freak wants to make some mobile games or something like that, fine. But the reality is, you need to put Pokemon in the hands of a talented team and a talented company that actually gives a shit. This is unacceptable for $70. How on earth did the same company that made that make this?
はるか昔、この国に輪廻の獣が現れた。輪廻の獣は汚れを吐き、あらゆる生物を蝕んだ。
It looks, you know what that beast looks like? Do you know what this beast reminds me of? It reminds me of the King of the Forest from Princess Mononoke. That's what this thing reminds me of.
あらゆる生物を蝕んだ。
There it is, Game Freak. Really? It's a female main character. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? However, she is attractive. She is attractive. You know, maybe let's see. Yeah, see, she's very attractive. So, that's already one step above Ghost of Yotei. How have you not made a Pokemon game like this? This is for PlayStation. How is Game Freak not making a game like this for Pokemon? This looks like Monster Hunter with monsters and Gundams and robots. What the heck?
The
year 4026.
人類は滅亡を待つのみ。
She's not as good looking as Stellar Blade. Eve from Stellar Blade is very attractive.
封じ子エマ、お前こそが輪廻の獣を滅ぼす。
She's attractive, but she's flat. She's very flat. Well, you know what? You can't win them all. Yeah. Look. I'm not going to play that game. You know, I do like the fact that she's way more attractive than the girl from Ghost of Yotei, but to be honest, I still maintain that as a general rule, if there's a game in a medieval setting or taking place in a Japanese setting, I want to play as a Japanese fighting age male. And I make no apologies for that because that is my preference when it comes to gaming. I think that should be the norm. I think that should be the standard. It'd be like playing a Prince of Persia game, but your main character isn't Persian, or maybe he is, but it's a girl. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, I don't know what Game Freak's problem is. You have access to one of the biggest franchises in the world. And yet you make this children's game that it's more than just a children's game. It's a shitty looking game that's made too easy. One of the things about Pokemon is the first one is it was made for kids, but it was difficult. It was. When you were a kid, it was difficult. Like when you've seen 1,000 strategy guys and you've seen people speedrun it, you can go, oh well, it's not that hard anymore. But the fact is that at the time it was pretty tough. And so I do appreciate the IP and legacy that they've created, but they are on borrowed time. This game is shit. And they really need to innovate the graphics, the gameplay, the style. They need to have a fundamental overhaul of the whole thing. And they need to realize that they maybe have 1 or 2 games left before people realize I'm just not going to buy it. I know people say, well, that's never going to happen. It's Pokemon. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure this game is going to sell well. But the reception of it already is pretty fucking abysmal. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.